with Mike Ralston from Blencowe Resources this morning. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Nice to be back.
Well, big news, Mike, from you this morning regarding this MSP accreditation. Just firstly, give us a brief intro to Blencowe and the Orom-Cross project.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Blencowe Resources acquired the huge Orom-Cross graphite deposit in Uganda in 2019, brought it in 2020. We've been developing it ever since through a pre-feasibility study. We're now in the latter stages of a definitive feasibility study. And it's a significant graphite deposit in world terms, and we hope to bring it into production over the next couple of years as we go forward.
So, Mike, give us some background here to the MSP, this Mineral Services Partnership accreditation.
Yeah, I thought I would just read from their own website as to exactly what they say they are, because I think it's very important. It says the MSP is a collaboration of 14 countries and the EU catalyze public and private investment in responsible critical mineral supply chains globally. So what that means is that you've got 14 of the biggest economies in the world, including the US, the Western nations, the G7. It's all the big ones minus China and Russia, who realized a long time ago that they're in trouble, I guess, with regards to critical mineral supply chains, and obviously the over-reliance on China in that regard. And in 2022, the MSP was formed with a view to addressing that, to backing projects that they believe have the right sort of credentials, both in terms of the deposit itself and other things that matter, such as ESG, and focusing on how they can give tangible and concrete support to develop those projects and obviously address the critical mineral supply chain issue that is there. So it's a very, I guess, very high status, perhaps, for us to be involved in this, and for us, it's obviously a big step going forward, and we'll be looking to see what we can do.
Why do you reckon they were attracted to the Orom-Cross Graphite Project?
Well, we've been having discussions with various different parties at various levels for a long time. We've spent quite a lot of time in South Korea over the last year, talking to different offtake partners or potential partners. And we've been lucky enough to get to meet some very senior officials in South Korea at the time. And the Deputy Foreign Minister for South Korea is now the current chairman of the MSP. Long story short, they like our project. They think that we've got not only just the quality of the graphite, but we've got the ability to bring it into production, low costs, low capital costs, etc. And they want to back us. And hence, South Korea championed us and put us forward to the MSP forum, which was held in New York end of September. And we got unanimous support to be fully accredited going forward. So it's all about not just the project credentials, but also the company's ability to do this in a manner that fulfills all of the MSP criteria. And we do within Orom-Cross and within Blencowe. So yeah, we've got their support, and obviously we aim to keep it, and we aim to deliver on it.
Well, tell us more, Mike. How does this accreditation help you? What does it mean moving forward?
That's a good question, Andrew, because at the end of the day, you've got 14 countries, you've got some very significant people. As I said, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, South Korea, is the current chairman. Under Secretary of State for Energy in the US and in the US is obviously very involved, etc., etc. And you wonder at times whether the sort of high nature or the seniority of those parties means that they can't actually do anything tangible. But we are of the understanding that they've got lots of people working below them that are actioning items. And for us, I guess MSP means an opportunity to do two things. Firstly, to get involvement with further funding, because the MSP has lots of funds at its in its camp, and actually I understand that they will be forming their own funds to invest into projects that they're backing going forward. So funding is a key area, and obviously funding is a critical path in terms of our DFS and our feasibility study completion. And then the second avenue is offtake. They obviously have key relationships into the biggest companies. We're looking to work with tier one off-takers, and we're able to work through the MSP and their contacts and their network to develop the relationships that we've got for offtake. So in particular, those two, but I think behind the scenes, it's another big tick in terms of, I guess, approval and in terms of getting the credibility. Obviously, the Development Finance Corporation giving us a grant last year started that process, but I think continuing on with MSP accreditation just goes to show that there are some very serious people looking at OromCross and obviously supporting us.
Well, look, clearly you've had a couple of big announcements recently. The one this morning, of course. Recently, also news around the downstream processing of graphite in country. These all will play important parts for the upcoming DFS.
Yeah, they will. I think our strategy has been to differentiate ourselves from the other graphite peers who seem to be focused on producing concentrate only. We don't think that that's the best result that you can achieve in this graphite space. So we are not only differentiating, but value adding along the way. And as you say, recently we announced that we are going to be, well, we formed a joint venture to build and develop a downstream processing facility in Uganda to deliver 99.95% purified graphite, which is what the market absolutely needs outside of China. And this MSP accreditation is obviously another big step in that direction in terms of differentiating ourselves. But we'll continue to add other key initiatives. We've got several on the horizon, which will continue to produce more value for that DFS when it ultimately comes out next year, so that we can showcase OromCross as the project we know it is.
Well, I suppose just on some of these key initiatives, what are you working on now, Mike, and what's your upcoming news flow looking like?
Well, we've got plenty happening at the moment, Andrew. Obviously, the continuation, we've now become qualified or pre-qualified in terms of our bulk sample testing has been completed, and tier one off-takers are looking at our product at the moment. So I think we're going to have some good news flow coming forward in terms of off-takes in various stages. And we've got some other key strategic initiatives that we're developing at the moment together with some other partners, which could make a huge impact on that DFS going forward. So keep an eye out. We're going to be continuing to value add and differentiate, as I've said.
Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for your time.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much.